Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. I'm Rob Finnerty. China is finally facing criticism from around the world over their treatment of the Uyghur Muslims and many other minorities. Experts say that between 1 and 3 million Uyghurs are being detained right now in internment camps, which the Chinese government calls re-education centers. Joining us now to talk more about the atrocities currently happening in China is a man who was forced to work in one of these camps for more than 2 years. Tahir Imin is joining us. Tahir, thanks so much for being with us on Wake Up America. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's our pleasure. I want to get right to it. The Uyghur Muslims, they're a Muslim minority group, largely from the northwestern part of China. They're now being detained, and when I say detained, I mean completely without cause. If you've got a long beard, you can be arrested and sent to one of these internment camps. Tell us, why were you initially sent to one of these camps?
It was in 2005. I have written an article titled Uyghur Culture in Danger. Explains why the Chinese Communist Party wanted to eradicate Uyghur culture. And the Chinese authority put me in jail for more than 2 years. And we had to work 14 hours a day and forced to learn the political indoctrination for 2 hours a day. That was most humiliating and horrible experience of my lifetime, which is very different from the concentration camps.
Yeah, I want to touch on that point. I've heard you say that before. You've called the treatment of the Uyghurs there the worst human atrocities since World War II, which is a very, very strong statement, and that will certainly grab people's attention. But you say this because there is murder, there is forced genocide. What were the conditions like for you, and what are the conditions like now?
Before I said time, it is even if it is the extrajudicial, extra trial, legal trial process just executed by the Chinese police authorities, but it's now the Chinese state crackdown and the genocidal policy, not only eradicate the ethnic and religious and cultural identity, but also the physically and biologically wipe out the entire population. So far, we have witnesses reports verified by independent news media organizations. Also, the witnesses say that there are the mass detention, and the people are being tortured, and the women are being faced to rape and forced sterilization and forceful abortions, even the organ harvesting. So I think I believe this is much more worse than what I have experienced almost 15 years ago.
So the point you're making is well heard. The situation at these internment camps has gotten worse. Forced breeding to try and get rid of the Uyghur Muslim populations in that part of China is also taking place. Why do you think the international community has done so little about this, including the United States?
Yes, it's genocide according to UN Convention on Genocide. When it comes to genocide, the lip service, criticism, or statement from the governments is not enough. The genocide is the most radical and extreme the actions by a government against a minority or a people. So in order to counter this kind of extreme radical campaign by government, you have to be stronger. Yeah. You have to produce out the more consistent, more stronger actions allied by the freedom-loving countries. So I think, yeah.
Go ahead. I just want to get to a couple more points because we have limited time. But this broke my heart as a father myself. I know that you haven't talked to your daughter in at least a couple years now. But the last time you talked to her, I think she was around 7 years old, and she said that she had been brainwashed, and she said that you were a bad person. Tell us about that.
Yes. After I came to the United States, my wife was a professor of college. She was forced to divorce me, and my daughter told me that I'm a bad person, and the Chinese Communist Party, the Chinese police are the good people who are take care of the Uyghur people. So she asked me not to call them again and not to contact with them again. So that was a word, the last word from my loved daughter. Yes.
I'm so sorry to hear that. And for our NewsMax viewers, the Biden administration, Joe Biden himself called the mistreatment of the Uyghurs, quote, a different norm. So he's still failing to acknowledge the severity of what's going on there. Finally, in just a few seconds, should we be boycotting the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics?
Absolutely. It should be boycott. The Olympics shouldn't be allowed to have the genocide Olympics after the Jewish Holocaust. And also all of the Chinese products should be boycotted by not only by Americans, but also around the world. Also, I call the Hollywood stars and NBA players and Wall Street investors and all of the elites to stand up for Uyghurs and call it genocide and take stronger actions for us.
I wish people like LeBron James would call and acknowledge that genocide. They are wearing jerseys that in some cases were made by Uyghur Muslims in the NBA, and that's something that nobody here in the U.S. wants to talk about because the NBA is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Tahir Imin, thank you so much for your time, your bravery, and for telling part of your story. We appreciate it. Come back and see us.
Thank you very much.